there, and welcome to yet another episode of the Dusty Thunder podcast. But this is a first. This is a first. We have what we'll call the very first couples counseling edition of the Dusty Thunder podcast. We're not exactly sure which one of us is getting counseled. Probably both at the same time here. But we have Ellen and Sergeant Mac with us. Hey, Ellen and Sergeant Mac are here today. If you've been on the live streams, you probably feel like you already know Ellen and Sergeant Mac. But Ellen and Sergeant Mac, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm a Sagittarius. Sorry, every time I do that, that's what I think of. I guarantee I would love to see everybody's face right then.
Okay.
They're like, I had no idea.
Was not expecting that. We're both Air Force vets. We've been married 9 years now.
So I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. He's from small town Indiana. We joined the military about a year apart from each other, I think. He retired. I unfortunately had to get out for medical reasons at 6 years, 11 months, and 11 days. And yeah, we've been married 9 years. Our story of how we met and got married is quite an interesting one.
Yeah, you know how it is. You got, married to different people. Then after a couple of years, you're just like, switch.
Which is a little bit. So what happened? So my ex-husband and I, we were going to a barbecue they were getting ready to deploy, right? Yeah, they were getting ready to deploy. And so we went for a barbecue on base. And that's where I met his now ex-wife. We all became really good friends. So my ex-husband was his best friend, and his ex-wife was my best friend. My ex-husband went to Korea, and we eventually divorced. And there was some drama with his ex-wife, so they divorced. And this was like almost at the same exact time. So I reached out.
Not influenced by.
No. We actually.
Yeah, I was joking earlier.
We actually lost touch for a couple years, and I didn't talk to them at all. So when I found out I was getting divorced and I was going back to Ohio, I wanted to say goodbye to his stepdaughter and his son. So we ended up getting together, and I found out that he was going through divorce. And a lot of limeritas later, we kind of became, I don't really know what to call it. Like, we weren't really dating. We were just getting out of our marriage phase. So,
yeah, let's put it that way.
Yeah. I think that works really well. What do you do after a divorce? So we decided, though, because I had already gotten my place in Ohio, that we would separate for a while. And if in a year we still had those feelings that we still wanted to be together, that we would be together. He deployed during that time. And when he came back, October 11th of 2014, we officially got engaged. I was pregnant.
Nice.
I was pregnant, so we had our son a month after we got married, almost a month exactly after we got married. And we moved here in 2015 to San Antonio, and just been, I would like to say, living a blissful life, but we're happily married.
That's awesome. So you got the big baby bump wedding pics then, huh?
Yeah, there was no dress. I could not. I was in my leggings phase.
There you go.
Yeah, it was very, very big. I looked like I swallowed a basketball. Like I lost a lot of weight because I had hypermesis. It just sick the whole 9 months, the whole time.
Right.
So I think awful. I lived off of milkshakes and KFC mashed potatoes. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So
milkshakes and mashed potatoes.
Yeah, it worked. It kept at least some. I think I only gained like 16 pounds through the whole thing.
Something like that. Well, the mashed potatoes after the mac and cheese that you had last made didn't smell right.
Hey, that's the thing.
And then the emotional breakdown.
Didn't I call you crying about it too?
Yes, you did. And the emotional breakdown when you were down to one last package of Pop-Tarts.
There was only one in the package of Pop-Tarts. I was very upset. I called him crying on that one too.
You've been wronged at that point.
Right.
I was.
I didn't
like somebody opened the package and took one out.
No, it was me. I just
That's what I was saying. I I don't know how to help you here, honey.
Yeah.
The coffee story is one of the best ones of my.
That's when I really realized how much the hormones were kicking in. She had bought hazelnut coffee, little K-cups. That was my favorite. I made a cup earlier, made a second cup. Come sit back down, and she looked at me like, "You make that coffee one more time, I'm going to kick you in the face."
He walks.
It's your coffee. Here, get some of that.
It's so true,
So
though.
it was the smell. The smell just no longer smelled good to you.
Yeah, like for probably a good solid month. So where I live, because I was still in Ohio and he was still in Virginia, where I lived, I had to go by what we called Mayonnaise Row, which is just like a bunch of fast food places. I had to find a way to not go down that road because it would make me so sick. So I went like this long way and back roads just to get around this like 1 mile of area. Because I was just like,
did you say Mayonnaise Road?
Mayonnaise Row. Yeah. That's what we call it whenever there's just a ton of fast food places.
Right.
So
That's what we need to call range line.
I know. It's nothing but fast food.
The mayonnaise mile.
The mayonnaise mile.
It sounds like
The mayonnaise mile.
Candy Thunder post-COVID, it still changes, like what smells good and tastes good and what doesn't. So it's almost like we're going through a part of that pregnancy phase, just ongoing with the changes in smell and taste and what doesn't smell good or taste good anymore. And it's, I know that's been an emotional roller coaster for her too. So I know just things that you like no longer smelling or tasting good can be devastating.
Yeah. Right now, I don't know why, but like sometimes I'll just completely lose like all smell. And so right now I have no smell whatsoever. And yesterday Navy woke up and said, "I pooped my pants." And I was like,
"You did?"
Because she hasn't had an accident in so long. And I was like,
"You sure?
You did?" And I was like, and then she's like, "No, I didn't poop my pants." And I was like, "Oh, okay." I didn't think anything of it. And I pulled her pants down and I'm like, "You did poop your pants." But I was like, I had no idea because I couldn't smell anything. And then I'm like just standing here and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because I'd already pulled it down. The pull-up's down. I'm like, there's no going back now. So
I'm committed.
Yeah.
Yes.
I can't believe that.
And she's like, "I'm so sorry."
I can't believe you still have side effects of COVID. Like that is insane.
Yeah, it's been what happened when I was pregnant with Navy. Whenever I lost, and I've had it a couple more times. But yeah, I don't know that I'm emotional about it anymore. It's just.
No, it gets frustrating.
Yeah, it is what it is. But
whenever something new happens, it's like, again.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
We feel it on a daily basis.
I mean, I haven't seen anything like that, and of course, thank goodness we're dudes, Sergeant Mac, and don't have to deal with the biological changes that pregnancy puts you through.
Amen.
My gosh.
Right.
Holy crap.
I still feel bad for you when I was.
Would have a mental breakdown.
And then you see the assholes that treat their wives like
shit when they're pregnant.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Absolutely.
That's fun.
And
those stories always
you remember how
so
bad pregnancy is. Yes. You remember how bad it is, and then you hear them treating them like shit or telling them that they can't get an epidural or give birth however they want. I did read a story that was about another surrogate story, and it was the surrogate was saying that the people wanted them to have like a natural birth in water, water birth. And she was like, "No."
She's like, "No, you didn't pay for the upgrade charge for that.
Right.
Sorry."
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it would be some extra dollars.
It was her brother and sister-in-law. So she was doing the surrogacy for free because they were done having kids. And I was like, "Oh, so you didn't have a contract or like anything wrote up." Like,
and you could have walked
out. Yeah, you gave them. Yeah, you just ruined your relationship with these people.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, you got to have a contract.
You can have epidural, you can have sedatives, you can have nitrous gas, 2x4 to knock you out, whatever you want.
Right. I didn't have much of a choice. I had to have a C-section just because of some issues that I had. I told Dusty yesterday that I was supposed to be a twin. Apparently, I started out as a menace to society because I absorbed my twin very early on. So I was born with 3 kidneys and an extra uterus. So they had to put those together. Wow. But when they did, it was like really thin. So I wasn't allowed to even kind of go into labor. Like they had to take them 3.5 weeks early or something like that.
Yeah.
So
That's scary.
It's wild.
Yeah. My cousin actually was the same exact way. She absorbed her twin, and she ended up having a cyst on her ovary. And when they took it out, it had like hair and teeth. And yeah.
Oh, wow.
And she had 2 uteruses, but only 2 kidneys, but she had 2 uteruses. And they didn't take the second one because I don't think they discovered it until she was actually pregnant.
Oh, wow.
So she was pregnant, and she had 3 kids, I think, but she was pregnant, and they found out that she had a second uterus, I guess, because they thought something was like a growth or something. But
Now, question: if you have 2 uteri, would that mean that when you go through like cramps and shit, that you would go through double because you're going through it with 2 of them?
Yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
So the way that I found out is I was having a lot of problems conceiving in my first marriage, and just really bad like effects during that time of the month. And I went in, and they're like, did you know you had 2 uteruses? And I'm like, no, I did not know that. I would not be here.
You're like,
Is this the face of someone that's in the know?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I would bring that up if I knew I had 2.
Yeah. So,
You know what? The last time I looked inside my body, I did see something weird. I'm glad you brought that up.
Oh, when they found the 3rd kidney, it was my favorite. So I was deployed to Al-Udeid at the time, and I had gotten a really bad kidney infection, and they did a CT scan while I was there, because at that time, like, the base was kind of building up, so they had a medical center. And I remember laying on the table, and they took the scan, and they were like, they called in like a doctor, and they called in another person, and they kept looking through the window like, and they're like, so Airman, did you know that you have 3 kidneys? And I'm like, nope, I did not know. And they're like,
well, yeah, I was like, does this look like the face of someone who knew?
Right. And they're like, well,
I felt like I had 3.
Yeah,
I
had an extra one. I knew that, but
Yeah.
And they're like, were you supposed to be a twin? And I'm like, I have no idea. And I told them, like, I have a big scar on my side, and I had called my dad and asked, like, I asked my dad this much later, because after my mom passed away, hey, did mommy have a miscarriage, or think she had a miscarriage around like 12 weeks? And he's like, yeah, we actually thought we lost you. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is. So
that's crazy.
But they're 3 fully functioning kidneys. I'm actually, I need to schedule that blood test, because my friend needs a kidney. So we're trying to see if I'm a match for her.
Man.
Wow, you just like spare parts.
And yeah, you came with a spare.
Yeah.
So
That's
you came with a full-size spare.
I
That's
know.
a selling point
I
right
did,
there.
100%.
Why do you think I'm married?
That's awesome.
Might as well take advantage of a good situation.
Hey, make sure if you do end up donating one that you choose the right one, because I have a feeling that the ghost of your conjoined twin is probably like housed inside there somewhere. Did you hear? If you hear voices sometimes, it might be like those pieces of your twin that are just like piping up.
Wouldn't that would be crazy though. If it really was true, I'd be like, oh, it makes so much sense.
There's your next book.
That would be a good. Yeah,
that would be.
That would be good.
The ghost kidney.
Just pipes up. She's like, you greedy bitch. Been taken from me all our lives.
That's the one I end up giving Chris. It's like all of a sudden I hear voices. So I'm like, yeah, I stopped hearing voices. That's so weird.
Yeah, that's weird. Like there's a price for everything, sweetheart.
Oh,
you got
awesome.
a kidney, but yeah,
now
you got a bonus.
Yeah,
I don't have to hear him anymore.
Sweet deal.
Yeah.
Okay, before we dive into our first story, tell us a little bit just about how you guys got connected to the content and your journey with that with us to this point.
Okay, I've watched you since it was Reddit said it.
Heyo.
Like
Nice.
you had maybe 400 or 500 followers when I started watching you. So this was a really long
Very
time
cool.
ago. And then you changed to Dusty Thunder, and that's when you started doing the lives and everything. And I was watching you one day, and he's like, "Hey, what you watching?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm watching Dusty Thunder." And he's like, "Okay, cool." And then I subscribed to you, and he was like, eventually he started watching as well, and then got the subscription. So I think today is your 1 year of having this.
Today is exactly.
Hey, that's really cool. Yeah.
Happy channelversary.
Yeah.
Right. Yes, we just have been watching ever since, and
Yeah.
the weird ones that sit in bed together with separate phones and comment on each other's comments.
It's awesome.
Hey, so question: if you're both sitting there on your phones, does only one of you have your volume up, or do you have headphones on?
One of us, whoever is ahead, because there's always a delay with somebody. So whoever's ahead, their volume goes up.
That's wild.
I love your guys' comments and interactions with each other. It reminds me so much of him and I bickering. I mean, we were bickering like right before this started. So
he
but just all the time.
Sergeant Mac was like, "Would you breathe?" Because I'm like, I wanted the lighting to be good. I wanted the sound to be good. I wanted like everything to be perfect. And he's like, "It looks fine."
Okay, so that would make you the Dusty and me the Sergeant Mac. Yep,
that makes sense.
I think there's got to be one though. There's got to be one that's like, well, maybe this week
I'm super high strung.
Maybe this week I'm the Dusty and you're the.
It does probably flip back and forth, but generally, like I'm the super high strung one.
And I'm normally just like, everybody just chill. It's fine.
That's him, 100%.
Most of the time.
She was hitting her face like every 3 seconds. And I'm like, honey, take a breath. Like actual air, oxygen, take a breath.
It's not fun.
It's like, I
meant to take a bite of a gummy before we got started. It's a little early. It's a little early. Right. I'd be worthless the rest of the day.
There was last night there was a video and we were playing with Navy. Ava had a cheer thing at the school and we were waiting for her to like finish. So we were waiting outside and I have this video of him playing with Navy. And there's like this moment at the end of it where you're like, the stress on your face was just like, I know there's a gnat flying around in here. I just want to kill it so bad.
Dusty looks like he's going crazy like Ross.
I am going crazy. It was one of those like moments before disaster things because we were playing outside, then we went back inside to get Ava. And during that time, like I had gone to the bathroom and then came out. We were going to go get in the car and wait for Ava because she was getting a picture, but we were going to go eat for dinner after this whole thing was over. And Navy was like, "No, I will not go to the car." And I'm like, "I'm going to pick you up and take you to the car and you're not going to throw a fit and this is going to be fine." And she's like, "No," and hides behind Candace and is just being uber defiant. And I'm like, "Look, we can stay here for a minute if you cut this out. If you continue to act like this, I'm picking you up and we're going to the car." Well, I ended up picking her up and taking her to the car and it was bloody murder screams the whole way out there. And I'm like, I don't care. You can be mad at me all you want. You didn't listen. You chose this path.
You will go to sleep.
I had to become hard ass dad mode for a while.
I was thinking too, like you will go to the car or I will put you in the car.
Do we get the zap racket here?
I just I'm feeling it touch my forehead.
We're going to have like I don't know if there's like a physical Tourette's, but I feel like that's what we're going to be plagued with for the rest of the.
Is it I think it might be a hair.
You have the gnat is not on your forehead.
Okay. It's a hair.
I do.
It's like I'm feeling a bug.
We'll do the same thing, but we've got one of those salt guns. And so you'll see us like hunting around the house all of a sudden. What happened? Like, you saw it. Okay.
Did you get it?
No, it's out there. It's because we have the bright lights on, so it's attracted to this whole area.
Yeah.
I'm really good with a fly swatter. Like exceptionally good. Like I can kill flies. Like the other day on Memorial Day, we had a family get together and I killed like 14 flies in like 10 minutes. With the fly swatter, and I ended up breaking the fly swatter.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm like, you have to hit it hard.
Little death notches on the handle as she goes.
Yeah, that's right. I was like, I don't know. It's like my only talent that I have is that I can kill flies.
Oh my gosh.
Everyone has a gift.
Yeah.
Right.
She's also good at killing or catching them with her hands. Like she's got some
cat like awesome when you do that. Like you Mr. Miyagi.
Right? You feel really good about yourself.
Sergeant Mac one time and then was like, I don't know if I caught him, and then opened his hand and just
like,
shit. I'm like, what did you think was going to happen when you did that?
You're like, it still counts as a catch. It still counts. It totally does. Catch and release program here. You know, you don't want the park ranger coming over. You got to catch and release. Catch and release. Okay, we'll go ahead and dive in on the first story here. I got to keep my foot out of the way or the mouse won't work right. That's how high tech we are.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, so we're going to start off a little fun. You guys ready for that?
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll get through the story and then we'll all chime in. This is a story from Petty Revenge, and it's titled, "Okay, then block my driveway." I live next to a school, and I've had parents back up into my driveway to wait for their children. If I'm not going anywhere, I don't mind. No harm, no foul. One day I came home to find a woman in my driveway. I got out of my car and asked her to please pull out for a second so I could pull in, and then you can go back to where you were. She said, I will only be a few minutes. I said, ma'am, I live here. I'd like to get into my garage. Because it's a narrow street and parents are now parked on both sides, the street across is now narrow and only one car can get by at a time. I told her that I cannot wait here a few minutes because I'm blocking traffic. We'll be moving in a bit. I said, okay, no, you won't be. I then parked perpendicular to her vehicle, blocking my own driveway and her vehicle. As I walked by, I told her I really have to use the bathroom and I have stomach cramps. You are welcome to call the police if you like. I'll be out in a bit. The look on her face after she realized what was happening was priceless. A few minutes later, I could hear her honking. A few more minutes later, I could hear honking and my doorbell ringing. Only because I saw it was a child ringing on my doorbell, I answered. I'll be out in a minute. I'm washing my hands. I could hear the little boy screaming to his mother, I assume. He says he's washing his hands. By the time I came out a few more minutes later, all the vehicles and students were gone. I very slowly walked past her car, avoiding eye contact, and got into my car. I adjusted the mirror, moved the seat forward, then backed slowly. Started the car, moved the car seat forward, then back slowly. Started the car and moved my car forward slowly. All I heard was the tires screeching and the car horn honking as she left. Her windows were rolled up, so I can only assume the little boy got an earful of nice words as she was leaving. My neighbors were wondering what was going on with all the honking. When I explained, they said, oh yeah, that's what we kind of figured. I think it's beautiful.
I know.
Awesome.
This is like
That's
the
amazing.
epic petty revenge.
Absolutely.
We could relate.
Yeah, we lived in one of our house previous to the one we lived a block away from the school. And so our driveway would get blocked all the time by the school pickup line. And it was so freaking frustrating. And I'm like, just don't block the driveway. Like, just leave the gap so that we can turn in, because we'd pick up our kid, like coming from work, pick up our kid and then not be able to get in our driveway. And they just sat there like, I'm like, no, you need to get out of line and go to the back.
Right. Oh,
Like,
my
you
gosh.
done blocked my driveway. You're done.
That would
Get out.
absolutely make me mad.
Yes.
I would absolutely get petty revenge as well. I would have done that, but I would have.
Yeah, I wondered if that was you for a minute.
I would have made dinner and taken my time eating.
You would have walked out, eating a snack,
Right.
You've done move this front seat up and now back,
back.
tilt it, come back,
Yeah.
Adjust the mirrors.
stretch for
Yep.
a moment,
Clean the windshield. You gotta do
mess
it.
with the starts with
Oh no!
Sorry, it won't start. My car won't start. I don't know what the deal is. I think you're going to have to call a tow truck. That'd be great. I'm going to try to pop it into neutral and just
and
push.
just Can you give me a hand?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
No, not the
You gotta
finger,
send
a
to this
hand. I
man.
need a hand.
He stopped me from being petty. What was it, like a few years ago when Aaron was visiting? We had just gotten new neighbors across the street, and they were from California. And I don't know how it works in California, but it doesn't work this way here. My sister had parked in front of their house, so not like in front of her driveway, just in front of her house. And she put a note on my sister's car and was like, you can't park here. Like, go get your car towed. And I'm like, the hell you will. So I go out and I write a note, and I'm like, in Texas, we can park wherever you want. And I put it on the car, and then she said something when I was out, and Sergeant Mac was like, don't. And I'm like, but. And he's like, no. I'm like, I was so mad. I'm like, I just want to be petty. Oh my gosh. So he stopped me from making enemies with our neighbors, which those neighbors were weird to begin with.
Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know you owned this public street.
Right.
I would love to see them try to call and get that car towed.
Oh,
Yeah.
I would just randomly park there, even when I didn't need to. Like, our driveway was like wide open. I'm like, I'm just gonna park right there, and I knew it pissed him off every single time. But
Like, you're Sycamore Boulevard? That's what you're for? Okay, this is yours.
that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I can still park
Yeah.
here. It's fast.
Sorry, Miss Mayor.
Yeah.
All right. This next story we're going to dive into actually is an AITA story. So we can do the reading game.
Ooh.
Title of this one is Am I the Astronaut for Expecting My Friend to Ask Me if Her Kids Could Come to My Wedding? Based on title alone, what do you think? Am I the astronaut for expecting my friend to ask me if her kids could come to my wedding?
No, I wouldn't say. I mean, it's their wedding. I would say not the asshole. In my own opinion, it's their wedding. Like, you should ask. I mean, I'm not going to just randomly show up with a kid.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I'm like, the whole expecting thing is kind of a feeling. And I know that we're not doing the feeling based ratings anymore, but
I feel like since I didn't vote before I found these, that I don't know if I can. Oh, I know the answer already.
The answer, yeah.
Yeah, I was just thinking. I was like, do I get 100% or?
If you spoil, you will get muted.
Okay.
Ellen
is on that shit.
I'm blocking people. I am all over that.
Beep.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going 4.
I was going to change it to 4 just because of the expecting part. If it wasn't worded that way, I would have said not the asshole because it's their wedding. But for expecting it.
Usually I would think a wedding is like, hey, family, friends, everybody come and watch us get married.
Yeah, no, most people aren't like that.
I don't know.
That.
So that's why I'm like,
I'm going to go NTA based on title alone, because my thought here is this could be applying to invitations. And if it's an invitation thing, it's an invitation to the people. And then it's not like a +1 kind of thing. If you send it to the 2 people that you are expecting to come to the wedding, if they want to bring their kids, I would expect them to be like, hey, is that okay? And then you'd be like, yeah. I don't know. We'll find out. Okay. So
I'm a terrible liar.
Your face.
Unscrew my face. I'm a terrible liar.
That's not what you
Which makes it really easy when she says everything's fine to know that ain't the case.
Everything is not fine.
Yeah.
Everything is. That's.
Yeah.
I'm gonna break that finger off.
Yeah. When you say it's fine with like no emotion.
I think it's fine.
Yeah.
Like you're
my blood is boiling
you're
right
a terrible liar.
Right.
Your words are saying it's fine. Your face is saying you.
Read between the lines.
Yeah.
All right. Here's the actual story. I got married a month ago and am no longer talking to my husband's best friend, Julie, 30 female. Neither is he. Both my husband and I find what she did very untasteful and are looking to see whether we are wrong here. So we planned a kid-free wedding. The only kids welcome to attend were my daughters from my previous marriage, 10 and 14. Julie has 3 children, 7, 10, and 11. We also had a limited amount of seating available due to pricing and food catering, so I only had 50 seats, and therefore I told Julie she could not bring her kids, but her and her husband were both invited. Julie told me very early on that she doubts she could find a babysitter and made it clear she refused to hire someone they did not know, but told me she would do what she could. About 2 weeks before the wedding, she confirmed that her mom was watching the kids. But then 2 days before the wedding, she messages me and says that her mom bailed on babysitting for one reason or another. I can't remember what I said in response, but anyways, wedding day comes and only 28 people of the 50 show up. I post on Facebook saying, I have 22 extra seats at my wedding. Message me if you would like to join us on our special day. I figured Julie would be the first to reach out, but she never did. She reacted to my post, but that was it. She missed the wedding. My husband was very upset because this was literally his best friend and he wanted her there. So anyways, I reached out to her a few days later and told her that me and Wesley are very hurt that she did not come and that this was our big day and we needed her. She responded with, did you expect me to leave my kids in the car by themselves, at home, at a hotel? I said, no, I expected you to reach out and ask me if your kids could come after knowing that no one else showed up. She says, OMG, okay. So you have a kid-free wedding and you expected me to look like a jackass by asking you to make an exception for my children to attend instead of just messaging me directly? My husband and I immediately blocked her after her hostile responses. He's feeling pretty shitty and thinks we may have overreacted. I think we are in the right. However,
of course you do.
We were all wrong. Top comment here. You're the asshole. You told her that she could not bring her kids. And now that she respected that, you're very hurt she didn't come. Then you dared to tell her you expected her to not respect that and to nag you for invites. You think you're in the right? Well, that's a no. Your friend has it completely correct. Well, damn it.
I think the first big red flag is, how do you invite 50 people and less than half show up?
Yeah.
Right.
What,
That's a small wedding. Yeah.
and yeah, I mean, 50 people is a small wedding enough, but like for less than half to show up, like, what did you do?
Mhm. I think you
couldn't
might be the
imagine-
problem.
Yeah, like when we had our reception, after we went through the temple, we invited, the whole church, and a good amount showed up. Like at least half of them showed up, if not more.
It could also be that only so many showed up because they couldn't bring their kids.
Yeah.
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 I mean, I understand a child-free wedding. Take it back. I understand having a child-free ceremony. I don't want kids screaming like they do in our church. Like, I don't want kids screaming and all that during.
Mhm.
But the reception, like, I don't really get why it matters.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and it's also weird that like day of only 28 show up. So she posts on Facebook
Mhm.
opening it up. I'm like, okay, first of all, you like with what, like an hour's notice,
Right?
Yeah.
expected people to just drop everything and come, and then expected this friend to, with like an hour's notice, reach out and be like, okay, now is it okay if my kids come?
Also, I think the fact that she, in general, posted this on Facebook on the day of her wedding tells us everything we need to know about this person. Like, who is going to get on Facebook and like auction off seats to your wedding because only half of the people showed up?
Well, he's expecting everybody to see that.
Like,
as soon as
it's
she
just so
posts it,
freaking
too.
weird.
Yeah.
But the friend did get it right, because all she had to do was message this
Mhm.
friend directly and be like, hey, we got lots of open seats now. If you want to bring the kids, come on over. But
Mhm.
instead did this public post and expected everybody to just do as she bid and read her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she
Everyone's
was
sitting and
begging for
waiting
people to
for-
come. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's something you do for like a birthday. Like, like 25 people RSVP and only like 10 show up. Then you open it up and like, hey, by the way, to people that, you weren't as enthused of having, or you wanted it to be small. But like for a
We
wedding.
need some filler people.
Yeah, like, but for a wedding, like, I missed the number. I thought it was 22 that showed up, but still, like, it's almost only half that showed up. That's insane. It's not something you post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. No, it's just, that's in bad taste.
Hey, B team, you're up.
Yeah, right.
I always feel
Everyone
like
who didn't make the cut.
I felt like that when I had a birthday party. Like, oh my gosh, this was when I was in my 20s, and I had at least 25 people that I invited, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I'm coming." And then like the day before, they're like, "Oh, I have to go to work," because I was military, I was active duty at the time, and so I called up other people that I wanted to come, but I couldn't invite them because it would have been too much for like one restaurant or whatever. So like that's a situation like you can call in the B team, but you don't call in the
Right.
B team for your wedding.
Yeah.
Right.
It takes way too much prep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, for us to be able to go to a friend's wedding, it's like a week's notice kind of thing at
Right.
least, right?
Yeah.
Like you need time to get everything ready for that. That's okay. So now that we know what the real situation is, where would you guys put him or her on the ASCON scale here?
She definitely shouldn't have done that. I don't think she's a terrible human being, but she definitely should not have done that. And then to cut off contact is just
Mhm.
just over something so silly. Like you just ruined a friendship.
As quick as they cut it.
Yeah.
I'm saying definitely a hard 3, possibly going into 2.
I think
Territory.
going into 2. Just because of how she
Yeah.
cut it.
I was gonna say too, because it feels like she's tanking this relationship, and I would wager that she's doing this on purpose.
I was thinking the
It's
same
a-
thing because it's a girl.
It's a
Mm.
female best friend to her husband,
Mhm.
and she found an opportunity to tank that relationship
Yeah.
up. But
I think she's been jealous of that person for a while. And she's
Mhm.
like, ooh, here's my opportunity to scheme.
Okay, Sergeant Mac, question for you here. Sideline. Would you have seen that without them saying it, that she was doing this on purpose to try to tank this relationship?
I would think there would have been signs of that long before this.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're
So-
pretty
Yeah, I
good
would think so,
covering
too.
that up.
I would have
Mhm.
never thought of it because the female v female clandestine operations that they undergo is shit that I would never think of.
and I would say that she
only
most
reason I
likely
know that is
has
because of experience. Let's put that way.
the fact that she didn't go to the wedding, and that was her response to this, says that like that was the last straw. Like she did not show up, and that was her making a point. Like I'm done. Yeah. Like I'm not coming to your wedding if you're going to be this kind of person. So I would almost guarantee that she has acted this way on more than one occasion to this woman.
Yeah, I'd love to.
And I wouldn't go either.
I'd love to hear the female best friend side of this. Like how much crap OP's done to her.
Oh yeah. She seems if they were ready to block someone over this thing, like she seems petty, like the bad kind of petty.
Yeah,
not the good petty.
Yeah,
I think
she was ready to pull the trigger and just.
And I think that solidifies her as a 2. And I bet she tanks another relationship of his.
She's a solid 2.
She's a solid 2.
Solid number 2.
You are the way you're acting. A solid 2.
Yeah.
She does seem like she's very, very easily offended. Has a lot of personal pride here. Right.
Right.
What's the giggle for?
Because she's like, I'm in the right.
Yeah.
My husband says we overreacted, but I'm right. I know I'm right.
Even the way that they posted this at the beginning is like we're not looking for anybody to disagree with us. We're looking for validation. Thank you very much.
She thought that she was going to come here and get validation from a Reddit sub.
I wonder if they
sadly mistaken
after Reddit ripped them a new one. I wonder if they actually reached out and tried to fix this situation.
Oh, I bet not, because everybody else is wrong and she's right. Yeah, that's the feeling I got from this.
She got to Reddit before we did. That's all that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
Well, for your wedding gift, OP, we got you some more, like a lifetime supply of being offended.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
You can be happy with that one.
I think it's hard for a guy to have a female best friend, especially when they're in a serious relationship or married too. So like, I would really have to get along with that female. You know what I mean? Like, but if I felt like she was doing anything that was sketchy. So I don't know. Like I wish we had the other girl's side, because I would love to know, like, were they best friends before? Like, has this OP been a total bitch the entire time? I'd love to know.
Now, in that regard, I'll go with Dusty on this one. If the best friend does do stuff like that, most often we're oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Because that's not something we're usually pretty straightforward. Like, hey, best friend, cool. And there you got the little conniving everything going on. But she would say, she's flirting
hand
with you.
Reference to conniving, whatever they got going on.
You have to, as a woman though, you have to know how to play the damn game. If you don't know how to play the game, you're going to get chewed up and spit out. And
that's the thing. Most often, us guys, we don't know the game's going on.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You and I.
We're like, game? What game? Yeah, I watched the game earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some crazy guys out there, but I feel like those are less common than like crazy guys who want to play the drama game. Yeah. But I feel like it's more common among women.
Well, we saw like Ava didn't know how to play the game, but the game was being played against her.
Yes.
And it hurt her.
Yeah. And I tried to explain it to her, but it's like, she's like, I don't care enough to do that. And I'm like, I understand that. And I don't automatically want to play a game, but you have to know what's going on. You have to be able to read between the lines and like pick up on those types of things.
You have to understand the game to be able to defend yourself from the game.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't engage. Like I'm not going to, and especially like as you get older, you stop like engaging so much in that BS, but you've got to be able to navigate it, because it's going to happen at school. It's going to happen at work. It's going to happen in friendships. Like,
hold up. This is probably how you find those girls or ladies or women who end up only having guy friends because they reject the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I mean, it's easier, I guess.
And OP's hubby's bestie could be one of those girls who just rejected the game. And by the way she responded to OP's message there at the end, that would line up with it.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's like, wait, you wanted me to do this and then this? Okay.
Yeah, I'm not playing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did it say how old they were? Did it not say? I forget.
I don't think it did.
I was going to say, like, the game is typically
it did.
30.
30. Yeah, they're 30.
Oh, so she's done.
That's too old for the games. Like, I played the games in my 20s, and, like, when I hit 30, I was like, all right, I'm done. I'm too old for this shit.
Yeah.
My understanding of the rules of the female v female game are that it never ends.
It does not, but
it doesn't end, but we play a lot less as we get older, but we recognize the games that girls play. And so like, we're always watching out for it.
So your circle just shrinks over time until it's like the few girls that have a mutual understanding to not play the game against each other.
Yeah, none of my friends play the game.
Yeah, you and I like one of the best things I think for like that I tried to teach Ava is like backhanded compliments. It's being like calling them on that and in a non-confrontational way and being like, why do you think that way?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and making them come like instead of just being and like calling them on their bullshit. And it's like an ICU. Cut the shit kind of thing.
Yeah. Forces them to face their own bullshit.
Yes.
There was a post that I commented on the other day, or maybe it was a video that I can't remember. My brain's shit. I don't know shit about this guy was like, I'm trying to befriend this female at work. And I started by like randomly complimenting something about her appearance every day. And I'm like, okay, time out. Don't do that.
Right.
Because first of all, women are on high alert for creepers in the first place, right? And like appearance-based compliments are automatically going to go like hit that defense system. The other side of it is women are automatically on guard or used to receiving compliments only in a backhanded fashion from their female friends. So like compliments based on appearance period are a no-go for women because it's either backhanded or it's a creeper. That's just if you're trying to befriend a lady, like just stay away from compliments based on appearance, period, because there are defense systems up for both sides. Would you agree with that?
You mean man to woman?
Man to woman.
And not woman to woman.
Yes.
So I was like, I just complimented her hair and I didn't mean anything by it other than that her hair is lush. It looks beautiful.
Afterwards, Ellen's like,
can't you see my hair? And over here like,
yeah.
2 days later, Ellen's like, that dance.
The delayed grenade.
But no, it's not all the time and not all of them. But I mean, for a woman, not especially in a workplace, but in a workplace, I would assume that the assumption they make is that either if they're receiving an appearance-based compliment, it's either a creeper or a woman giving them a backhanded compliment. So like appearance-based compliments are just danger territory.
I think that you probably should not give appearance-based compliments in the workplace in general.
Yeah.
I think that would be a no-go.
I give you appearance-based compliments.
Well, you're my husband.
In the office.
I expect them.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding.
I know when I
just think that
compliment a man,
you should.
I only say handsome. That's it. Like, I forget who it was. One of my friends on campus was dressed up. He had like an interview or something. Oh, it was because he was getting into grad program. And he was all dressed up for the interview process. And I was like, wow, you look handsome today. And he's like, oh, thank you. Or like, you cleaned up well or whatever. But in a workplace, no. Like,
it also varies too. I mean, guys take it differently.
Yeah.
Than girls do as well. So
I don't know. Some of the guys are like, ooh, she commented on me. Said I cleaned up nice.
There's that too.
How's she doing? Like,
right.
Like, no, it's not what I meant.
Right. Yeah, right. That's so true.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever taken an appearance-based compliment as a creepy thing, but most of mine are like, nice beard.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, oh
yeah,
cool, thanks.
Oh,
now I've complimented your beard.
Yeah. Wink, wink, Sergeant Man.
because of you, I let him grow his out more. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So.
His is far less white than your beard.
Well, except for like you can't see because of the headphones, but I'm rocking the salt and pepper bacon.
Yeah.
There you go.
I think, but it's
rocking. Yeah.
It's a guy's like age, so like your hair in general ages. I feel like
so much
very distinguished.
The salt and pepper on guys looks so like it's handsome.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm ready. I'm ready for like a full white head of hair and a full white beard.
I pulled my hair up in a ponytail the other day and I had like they're so coarse feeling and it was like a gray hair right there. And I was like,
So I walk into the bathroom and she's got her like scalps like
Like
peeled
Laura.
open. Yeah. And she
They're
says,
only right here on this side.
she says, oh, there she is.
It's I have this cowlick right here, and gray hair only grows in that cowlick, and it's so frustrating. It's like my weak side of my head. It's my shitty hair side. That's where they grow.
I got really lucky.
I've never understood when guys want to like try to dye their hair, do the just for a minute thing. Like, look, when it turns gray, embrace it. It's like chrome on a classic Chevy. It just adds to the value, brother.
There you go.
Heard that
Now,
for the last 10 years.
I mean, if it was a guy who was like still trying to date, if you were like still in the dating world, maybe I could see them trying to look younger, but I don't give a shit.
No. The only thing that I'm not a big fan of is it's like the good white ones. It's like what Kenny was saying. It's so hard to get rid of. Like all my other hairs, I can trim off no problem. But I get that gray hair sticking out. The one just wild one that wants to grow like this long. It's like I needed a acetylene torch and a pair of loppers to try to kink.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Terrible.
What the hell, Sergeant Mac?
We are kindred, because I'm the one that's always waving my arms around, hitting other people at the when we're on camera.
Oh, I swear, like he beats me up at night the way he sleeps. Like the other night, we almost didn't have a Sergeant Mac anymore. I seriously considered, like, am I strong enough to smother him with this pillow? Because he'll do this thing where he'll sleep with like his arm up like this, which is comfortable for him. Good for you. However, when he gets out of that position, I have to go on defense because I'm gonna get hit in the face. So like I almost walked out with 2 black eyes. I'm like, what? So I slept 3 hours and almost took him out.
Oh yeah, I would have been. I would have been salty. Yeah.
After the 3rd or 4th time, I literally, and he doesn't remember this, I screamed at the top of my lungs, would you stop? And he's just like, what am I doing? I'm like,
yeah. Oh gosh.
Oh, here's the best thing. Like we went through a phase where I was snoring my ass off, and she would beat the shit out of me at night when I was snoring my ass off.
It's like the nudge, and then you're like, stop.
Yeah. And then it would even carry over into the next day. And my line was always, I'm sorry for what I did while I was unconscious, I guess.
That facial expression. I'm like, I will slap that right off your face.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And then when we get sick and we snore, the guys are always like, you snored all night last night. I'm like, well, how did it feel?
Yeah.
Like I filmed it. You got 30,000 views already.
Yeah. If I didn't
live
fear
streaming
death,
my wife snoring.
Yep.
I'm gonna live stream he was doing the last night, and I was like, calm down, handle this like an adult.
In my defense, before I went to bed last night, I took one of the gummies, one of the dome wreckers. I was like, Daddy's gonna sleep tonight.
Oh man.
You were out as soon as your head hit the pillow.
Yeah. But apparently I do this thing where my lips get really, really relaxed. And then if there's any air in my mouth at all, it will break the seal and be like, and it drives her absolutely batshit crazy.
Yeah.
It is so annoying. He has a CPAP. So when he opens, it's just like the one that covers the nose. When he opens his mouth, you just hear this like whooshing of air. And so I do this like little thing like, like close your mouth. Nobody wants to hear. For like 4 hours.
It's like a backdraft. So like you can't talk normal if your mouth's open or anything like that. So it makes you want to close your mouth.
Well,
apparently sometimes I'm still like, and it's just
you wake up with a jock strap across your chin, tied over your head.
He might one day. I mean, I have to go out and buy one, but he might.
Between that and apparently sleeping like an orangutan, where I'm just
for real. You are going to wake up with saran wrap one day. No joke. You're just going to wake up and be like, "The hell."
You need one of those headbands, like the ones that like pull all your hair back.
Apparently,
And then
I
you
need
could just put it from, like,
headbands.
the-
I need
Yeah.
like a full restraint thing. Like we're just gonna buy some S&M gear.
Straight
Be like,
jacket.
so you guys are kinky? He's like, no, sorry,
No.
Mac doesn't sleep for sure.
He won't sleep. I don't know what's wrong with him. I lay there angelically.
Yeah.
Right.
She's gonna saran wrap mummify you and then be like, "There's a pocket knife in there somewhere. Good luck."
Good luck, Stevie.
She peeks around the door. I want to play a game. You'll have to poo in 10 minutes.
just spoon feed you coffee.
Never seen somebody do the worm so fast in my life.
Oh, God. I feel like the word like a horrible tube of toothpaste. Just-
Yep. Oh man. Okay, we'll dive into our next
Sorry, we
story.
set the wheels flying off the bus here.
That's the point. That's why we do this. That's why we wanted you guys to do this with us, because we knew it would be hilarious.
Yep.
Okay, our next
That's
one
awesome.
is another question one, so we get to play the game. This is: Am I the astronaut for refusing to re-propose after my fiance lost her engagement ring? NTA.
NTA.
Yeah,
I mean, I
NTA.
can vote on this one because as soon as I read this, I was like, "You're not the asshole."
Yeah,
Yeah.
NTA.
Yo,
Like,
wait,
you lose it.
so just wait, not just another, like a replacement engagement ring wasn't enough. She wanted him to go through the whole process again.
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, I mean, way to kill the whole magic
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
that moment.
Especially if it's her fault. Like if she left it somewhere or, whatever. Like, no, absolutely not.
Yeah, you can't just hand someone a ring, Daryl.
Well,
It has to be a
I'm
process.
going to, Susan.
If you want the ring, I'm gonna hand it to you.
Like, yeah, you want it or not? Here, I'll leave it on the table. How about that?
Yeah, there you go. All right. I, 29 male, proposed to my fiance, 28 female, 6 months ago with a beautiful ring that I saved up for over a year to buy. She was thrilled, and we've been happily planning our wedding since then. Last weekend, we went on a trip to the mountains for a little getaway. During one of our hikes, she realized that her engagement ring was missing. She was devastated, and we spent hours retracing our steps, but we couldn't find it. Of all places to be on a hike in the mountains.
Oh, hell.
Cool. When we got back home, she asked if I could get a new ring and re-propose to her to recreate the special moment. I told her that I understand how she felt, but buying another ring of the same quality would be financially challenging for me right now. I suggested that we could either wait until I could afford a similar ring or get a more modest ring for now and upgrade it in the future. She was upset and said that it wouldn't feel the same with a different ring and that the magic of the proposal was lost. She insisted that she wanted the moment to be recreated just as it was before. I told her that the important thing was our commitment to each other, not the ring or the proposal itself. She accused me of not caring enough about her feelings and said that if I truly loved her, I would find a way to make it happen. Now there's a lot of tension between us, and she's been sort of distant ever since. I feel like I'm being practical, but she feels like I'm not valuing our engagement enough. Monetarily, of course.
Right.
Am I the astronaut for refusing to re-propose with a new ring under these circumstances?
Hell no.
No,
Absolutely
absolutely
I
not.
think we got this one right.
Yeah, like
Also, Brobo, maybe think again about marrying this lady.
I
Yeah.
was
I think
thinking
anyone
the
who uses the if you truly loved me, you would do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think anyone who uses that is not worthy of
That was the
being
red
in
flag.
the
If
Red
you
flags.
truly love me, you will bring home $1 million today, Daryl.
right. I don't think
Like, well, I guess I don't love you.
so. Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Sucks to be
Wash my
you.
hands. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, like that, dude.
If you spent a lot of money on a ring, and I know that this varies like by state, you can get insurance on that ring that
Mhm.
actually covers losing it. Because I have quite a few diamond rings that were, what do you call it?
Heirlooms.
Yeah, they're heirlooms, and so I made sure that that's like on our like policy for homeowners insurance. There's an extra like 20 grand or something like that. So that way, if they're ever stolen or lost or damaged for, whatever reason because of something that happens in the house, they're covered. And I would never not have insurance on that. But I would
It's
never
like a
expect him to
floater
replace them
policy.
either.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely not.
Right.
Yeah.
We had a floater because we had renter's insurance when I was first married, and we added on a policy like to insure the ring so that in case something happened to it. And so, yeah, it's definitely possible to do, but damn, she lost what sounds like a nice ring at 6 months in.
Yeah, like, that's crazy. I wouldn't even buy her a new ring. What's she going to do? Lose it again?
I'm like, and why are you wearing it while you're hiking?
Yeah, no, we have the rubber, the life rings that we wear when we go, like when we were in Scouts, we would change it into the Groove Life, or when we go camping now, we change it into the Groove Life because I don't want to lose my diamonds. Like, absolutely not.
Right. Yes, exactly.
I have like a dozen different Groove ones, and I'll just swap out which color I'm wearing. That's it. Like I had a wooden wedding ring when we got married, and so it was made with like 100 different layers of like a veneer kind of wood, and then they seal over it. It's really cool.
That's cool.
But that clear coat broke down after like a year.
Oh, wow.
And once it looked like it wasn't going to make it, I put it back in the box, and I've only worn these Groove ones ever since.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm glad you used that term veneer, because that's what I was thinking of when I heard Opie's fiance. She likes that veneer of the engagement, the ring itself looking like, a 20 karat diamond, blah, blah, blah. That's what she's into. She wants the cardboard cutout engagement because there's no depth to it.
Yeah,
at least in her eyes.
She's showing you.
Right.
Yep. She's showing him who she is right now.
Yeah.
If the magic,
he needs to pay attention.
If the magic of the engagement was lost when she lost the ring, like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. Like, I'm sorry. I didn't know that every personal possession you had was imbued with magical properties. Like, that's cool.
I don't. I'm like, I would suck to lose my diamond ring. It would suck to lose that. But I'm like, the fact that she puts that over like losing. Like, it would suck more to lose the person that you love.
Yeah.
Like, and right now she's putting that in jeopardy by acting like a total spoiled brat.
What happens if when they get married, then she loses her wedding ring? She's like, Daryl, I guess we're not married anymore.
I'm gonna recreate the whole wedding.
With the magic of our marriage, and it is gone now.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
she sounds like a spoiled shit to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I'm saying, like, rethink the whole thing, man.
So we voted him in TA.
Yeah.
Where would she be though?
Oh, she's asked on one. She's asked on one.
Yeah. Knowing who she is deep down through all this, yeah, definitely a one.
Yeah, I think she's signaling towards much bigger problems that they're going to face here, and he worked his ass off for a year solid to save up for that.
Yeah.
Like, he's going to end up working himself into the ground just trying to satisfy her monetary wants or her.
If you put more energy into the engagement and the wedding, your marriage is not going to be healthy. You should put more energy and effort into the relationship side of it.
Yeah, absolutely. We didn't really even have a real engagement. We just were like, look at this. You came back from employment. It was just like, that's it.
Well, yes and no.
But there was no like the engagement ring, which I was fine with because I didn't really need it.
I did a quote unquote formal proposal after Alexander was born.
Yeah.
And I used the kids to ask the question on Mother's Day.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's when I presented with the actual good ring.
No, yeah, the Mother's Day ring that had the kids' names on it.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. It meant something.
Yeah.
Like, that was.
Yeah.
You guys have heard the story of how I proposed to her, right?
No, actually, I don't think we did.
Yeah.
30-second version of it. I had coordinated with a friend of ours who's a photographer down in Northwest Arkansas, which is about an hour away from us, and had at a garage sale that we had like the day prior transferred the ring
the day of.
Yeah,
it was the day of. It was the same day.
Was it? Okay, same day. That morning, butt crack of dawn, had transferred the ring to this photographer friend so she could go take it down, set it up on this trail area where we were going to go later on in the day. And then we would happen upon it. And then our photographer friend would be kind of hiding in the bushes, but capture the moment.
Right.
Well, it had to be like a secret, had to be a surprise. So I'm like, hey, let's go down and do this. And she's like, yeah, that sounds great. But we stop at her folks first, because if we're heading out of town to the south, we're going to stop by her folks first, and she's going to get a glass of sweet tea because that's, that's the Southern girl side of her.
Yep.
So we stopped there, and we're already running a little bit behind. So I'm messaging the photographer, and I'm like, "Hey, we're going to be like 15 minutes late." She's like, "No problem." And then because Candy Thunder is Candy Thunder,
I move like molasses, I guess.
Yeah, move like molasses.
That came out really weird. I move like molasses. I get bad
molasses.
with names. I get bad with things.
It turned from like it was 30 minutes late, 45 minutes late, like an hour late, and I'm freaking the out, but I can't tell her why.
I had zero clue. We didn't have the kids that weekend, so I was like just moving.
Yeah, she was.
Right.
I was chill.
Very, very just not in a hurry to do anything. And her dad, who knew exactly what was going on because I had asked his permission, is just laughing his ass off this whole time because I can't say anything, but I'm freaking the fuck out trying to get her down there to propose.
Mm-hmm.
And she could give a shit less because she doesn't know what's going on. He's laughing his ass off and he's like, "Hey man, this is what you're marrying into. You better just accept it now."
True.
To this day, that rings true. 100%. She just does not move fast out the door. It just does not happen. But we finally got down there. We go onto the trail, find the stuff. We bickered, like trying to find the parking spot, like trying to find the trail. We bickered on our way there.
I was like, "You're going the wrong way." And then I was like, "Why are you touching?" I thought he was touching people's stuff. And I'm like, "Quit touching other people's stuff. What are you doing?"
When we found it on the trail.
Yeah, I know. I was like, "Don't touch that. You don't know who that belongs to."
It's like, oh my God, who would just leave a ring out here?
It's a
And
dirty
he's like
needle.
on one knee, and I'm like,
You don't know where that's been.
Oh, it's my room now. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, okay. I understand what's happening now.
So we did get the pictures. It was a surprise. It was just a fuster cluck of a day leading up to that point. It did work out though.
Yeah.
But it was very symbolic of our lives together.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was foreshadowing our entire lives.
I can see you and
chaos.
I at the end of that, all that day, finally get to just, all right, you want to marry me or not?
Yeah.
That would have been.
I'm too tired of doing anything else.
Tired.
By
Check
that-
yes or no.
By that point, we just walked by it. And I'm like, I don't know whose shit that is. So
That's unfortunate.
photos are just us walking right by.
She's like, "I've rethought mine."
Yeah.
I completely reconsidered what I was going to do and
Yeah.
abandoned it.
Just got my sweet tea. Just walking by.
I would have done the
just
same
called
thing
an
though.
audible. Sorry.
Right.
If he picked up something on a trail though, I'd be like, "What are you doing?" Like, that's not ours. But then I'd be like, "Well, let me see it. Maybe it's ours." Yeah, see,
I was like, how though she was bickering at him like we would like with a kid, it'd be like, you don't know where that's been. You know where.
yeah.
And there were like flowers and stuff set up, and like this leaf that was like shaped like a heart, and the ring was setting on it. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like, she had set it up for him, and she did really well. But yeah, I was like,
Candy's clearly that's clearly not for us. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I'll bet this is some ring that some ungrateful bizzo from a Reddit story lost on a trail somewhere.
I was going to say that.
I just picked it up and proposed with it, and the rest is history.
I was going to say that the raccoon that tells the weather probably left it.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, sneaky little.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay, our next one is another question one. Am I the astronaut for not wanting my husband to criticize what I eat during pregnancy?
NTA.
Not the asshole.
Yeah, not the asshole. You can shut the up right now. Like, I'm going to eat whatever the hell I want to eat. Like,
Say that. That's
I will
absolutely not.
Hasselhoff this cheeseburger and you won't say shit.
Yep.
Facts.
Rookie
I'm
move.
20 weeks pregnant. Everything has gone smoothly so far. All of our scans and tests have come back fine. I've gained the exact amount of weight recommended by my doctor. My husband is fanatical about his health and on a strict schedule of prepped, healthy meals and workouts. Before this pregnancy and now during, I am far less rigid about what I eat. I've never been over or underweight. I take vitamins, get a lot of fruits and vegetables, and am active. However, compared to him, I indulge in sweet or fried snacks way more, and my diet is far more erratic. He criticized how I eat before I got pregnant, and it's getting worse with pregnancy. The other day, he found a receipt of McDonald's fries in my car and sent me this text while at work. I really wish you'd take my wishes into consideration more when it comes to what you feed our baby. And with McDonald's fries for lunch after a muffin for breakfast, it doesn't really feel like that is happening. Am I the ass cut up for telling him that I don't want him policing my diet during this pregnancy? Nor ever, but especially while pregnant when I'm already dealing with so many changes in my body and mood fluctuations. If I were majorly over or underweight, I would understand. Sure, I would eat healthier, but the way he eats, like an OCD health robot, is not something I aspire to. I also grew up around family members with destructive eating disorders, and I don't want pushy attitudes about food around me or my future daughter. Edit to include his perspective. He's complained that it's very hard on him to not have control over the pregnancy like I do, especially when he is so careful about his own diet. I'm sympathetic to that, but also the strain I'm under with pregnancy is a lot worse in my opinion. Yeah. Top comment. Send him a text that you are sympathetic to his mental health problems, but OCD-based eating disorders can be mitigated with therapy and medication, and that you will no longer entertain any discussions about your eating habits under any circumstances. NTA. But your husband needs to address his mental health problems before the baby comes.
Yeah.
Ellen, do you wanna start this one off?
It reminds me,
this guy what for?
Right. This reminds me of one of the other stories, like a long time ago, where the parents essentially gave their daughter like this eating disorder because of how they were like, they were so rigid in how they fed her. And that's 100% what would happen. I would be so out of there so fast. It would be like Looney Tunes fast. Like, absolutely not. First of all, I'm not going to put up with that, but I also don't want my child to have to put up with that.
Right. His need for control over the pregnancy it's unstable in my opinion. Yeah. And I would not feel comfortable with someone wanting that much control over my body.
I think the only bit of grace I can give him is that it's their first kid, and it's natural to freak out. It's natural to freak out when it's your first kid because you don't understand anything and you want to be uber careful about everything. And I understand that, but like, he needs to dive in. If he wants to have that much control of it, he needs to understand it better. So he probably needs to dive in on the research side of eating while pregnant, and understand that babies and kids can turn a single M&M into hair and teeth. Like, it doesn't. It doesn't matter. It is not. He needs to develop a better understanding. He's got his own problems. He needs to understand that's a him problem. He can't project his problems onto you, OP, and especially not onto your kid. And I agree, that is the bigger concern here, is that when your baby comes, this kid's going to have a disorder because he's projecting that onto them, and that has to get squashed now.
Yeah.
It almost sounds to me like they're incompatible because he's so strict about his eating habits and she is not. And they're like, it's not meshing well. And when you have this much of like a disagreement over how something should be handled, like, how are they going to handle this when the child comes? Because he's going to want the child to only eat X, Y, and Z, and she's going to be more lax with the diet. So they're automatically going to butt heads, and he's already doing it right now. I think when people go this far into like wanting control over someone else, and I understand that it's his baby, but when I think you go that far, I think it's it's unhealthy. It's an eating disorder at that point.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think all of his mental health issues have kind of created this monster where he feels he has to be in control. Like, that has created a sub symptom that is actually a big root of it. The rest of the problems, he cannot stand not being in control. And then on top of that, first rookie mistake. I mean, I can understand it being your first kid and a lot of things you're going to freak out about. But have you never been around any other women who've had kids? You had a mom. Did you not have an aunt, grandma, coworkers, anybody else that has shared stories at any point of, you know what I mean? Like, you've been around other people, so you haven't heard, like, this is a first for you totally.
And
like, you don't understand how pregnancy works. I don't think.
Yeah.
And eating disorders start typically as a child, and a big contributing factor is your family. Like, obviously, like, media and stuff like that can play a part, but they typically start when you're younger. And if you see your parents having these one having this super rigid diet and then the other one just kind of doing their thing, then, I mean, if the dad is going to force that, then the child has a high likelihood of having an eating disorder, just like, the father has. And
Right.
I don't think the father understands that he actually does have an eating disorder.
Yeah, I agree.
Because a lot of people are like,
agree.
oh, only, skinny people will have an eating disorder because like bulimia or whatever. And it's like, no, that's not the only eating disorders.
Mm-hmm. Right. I agree 100%.
It is incompatibilities, I think, can still result in successful relationships, but he does have to reach some kind of understanding that this is a him problem.
Right.
And when something is a you problem, you deal with that yourself.
Right.
You don't force that onto everyone else and assume that your problems are also their problems, that you need the solutions you need, everyone needs. He's got to get to an understanding about that point before he starts caring for a child.
Yeah.
Right. And I think, they can both compromise. If there was something that you felt strongly about during pregnancy or that you wanted to do, like, I would
quit
compromise.
drinking lard, please.
I would have compromised, with you on that and let you.
But it tastes so good.
Right.
Unless you're margarine and stay it.
Yeah. Unless you're smoking like a pack of Marlboro Reds and down in a 12-pack of Natty Light. I don't know how you can tell somebody what to eat during their pregnancy.
Right. That's what my doctor was like. The baby's going to take what it needs.
Yeah.
Like it's going to take whatever you have. It will take from you. Your body will the body or your baby's going to get everything it needs. So don't worry about X, Y, or Z.
Yeah. And when I was trying to gain weight during mine, my doctor said the same thing. Because I was like, the only thing I can stomach right now is, milkshakes from United Dairy Farmers, UDF, and mashed potatoes from KFC. And he's like, I don't care what you eat. He's like, just put calories in your body. He's like, take your prenatal vitamins and put calories in your body. He's like,
I'll go slaughter a pig and bring it in here raw if you want.
Right. Yeah. He was just like, all you need to do is just worry about your calories. That's it. Just get your calories. And so that's just kind of what I focused on, was eating anything that I possibly could. And I couldn't imagine Sergeant Mac being like, so I don't think that you should keep having ice cream. I'd have been like, well, I don't think you should keep living. What's your point? I don't care what you think.
We seem to be in an impasse.
To get that message after you had us like a few French fries from McDonald's, I would be like, what?
Yeah.
Is wrong with you?
Listen here, you get to listen here.
I probably wouldn't even respond to it. I'd be like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And
be like, bitch, I'm building this baby on Diet Coke and Twinkies. So you can just deal with it.
Hey, I did not. I limited my Diet Coke and did caffeine free.
I would have went back out and got French fries.
It was like I quit smoking, but no. It's like I quit Diet Coke.
I quit the crack. I quit the meth. It's all fine.
I was going to say, I know Candy didn't smoke cigarettes. There's no way.
No, I didn't smoke.
She
but it was
seems like
my
she'd
Diet
be like
Coke
the
or my
straight and narrow type person.
No, my Diet Coke was I actually gained. So I gained 20 pounds with IVF, and I gained 40 pounds when I was pregnant with Navy, and it was a bitch to lose weight. And it took me probably a year and a half, I think, to lose. But it was like COVID too, so it was just like I just went off the rails. Like
I think maybe when kids are making their space in the womb, right, and getting everything ready, I think there's extra storage space in there, not just for the luggage they bring, the placenta, because that's like a whole knapsack. They bring a suitcase.
Yeah, they really do.
I think there's extra space baked in for like their attitude. And Navy had quite a bit for that.
Oh yeah.
Who, by the way, now loves Diet Coke. Like we'll only give her a tiny little amount, but when she goes to Grammy's house, she'll come back and she'll be like, I had cookies and Diet Coke.
Oh my gosh.
Cool.
Like, wow, you really are your
Normally
mom's
she'll
child.
come back with an ice cream stain on her shirt too. And I'm like, cool. Thanks, Grandma.
Thanks,
It
Grandma.
must be fun to be grandparents. Like you just
Oh, yeah.
pick them
Right?
up and send them home.
Like, all right.
It's so nice.
Who wants Twinkies?
That's what.
Yep.
Yeah.
When we went to visit my
my mom
dad,
was.
oh god.
No, you're good. Go.
When we went to visit my dad a long time ago before I cut contact. We had both the kids, so your stepdaughter and then your son, and we went up to Ohio, visited him, and I woke up one morning and the kids are having popsicles. It's like 8 a.m. And I was like, have you eaten breakfast? They're like, Pop said this was breakfast. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, never in my life did my dad let me do that. So I'm like, how on earth did we get here where they had cake and popsicles? I found out much later they had cake. And I'm like, why cake? Seriously. So I had to like put them outside and go play. I was like, just go. I don't care where you go. We're out in the country. Just go. It was awful.
What's for lunch? Beer.
That would be my brother. That would be my brother.
That'd
be my brother. Yeah, big time. We went to
beer and bacon.
Yeah.
I'm on a bacon kick right now.
I love bacon.
I know.
Oh, man.
Finish your coffee,
So
otherwise
good.
you won't get your cigarette.
Good call,
Okay. Well, we have time for a couple more here. We'll dive into our next one. Relationship advice story title is My Husband Won't Consider Being Sterilized. He wants me to do it instead. Is this fair? 32 female and 37 male. I don't think we can rate this one, right? It's not
No.
really, okay. Me, 32 female, and my other half, 37 male, just had a baby this week. We've been together for 11 years now, and this baby is our second child. In fairness, I'm medically incapable of having more children to term. I can physically get pregnant, but I can't give birth again. We decided that we were okay with 2 kids and that this would be our last. My doctor asked me a few weeks ago whether I wanted to be sterilized as they'd be opening me up anyway during a C-section. My husband and I talked this over, and he said that it was a good idea. I was hesitant, but I think just for practical reasons, sterilization was for the best. I agreed, and we signed off on sterilization. However, due to the previously mentioned medical issue, I started bleeding at 37 weeks, and my baby had to be born on an emergency basis. During an emergency C-section, they do not perform sterilization as it's done for life-saving reasons. The doctors made it clear to me afterwards that I would need to essentially triple up on conceptive measures until I could get the surgery done, which may be a very long wait. Sterilization during a C-section is quite a lot better at preventing pregnancies, as the one where you get just the sterilization surgery alone is a keyhole surgery. It has a higher rate of ectopic pregnancies. The thought hadn't crossed my mind, but my husband's grandmother was visiting, and she said, OP has given you 2 children. She's had major surgery for you twice now. Why don't you get the sterilization surgery?
Yeah.
The midwife was present during this and spoke about how much faster it could be done for men than women, and how I had had quite a few invasive surgeries, and another, even if minor surgery, I would be looking at much longer recovery time than most. In total, I've had major surgery on my abdomen area 6 times throughout my life. My husband said there's no way he's having sterilization surgery. He didn't want to discuss it. However, he still wanted to discuss my having the surgery and still wanted me to have the surgery. He kept saying that's different for a man. I felt like he's not being fair, especially when I've had to be cut open twice already for our kids. I've spent pregnancies with, what is this word? Hyperemesis?
That's what I had, yeah.
Hyperemesis, yeah.
Okay. I've spent both pregnancies with hyperemesis gravidarum. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's a long term. I just always call it hyperemesis.
You can just say HG.
Yeah, that's another way to say it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I've spent both pregnancies with HG, so 9 months of dehydration caused by being unable to go 30 minutes without vomiting. I don't understand why he won't even talk about it, but I'm also worried that he doesn't want to do it because he wants to have a fallback card in his pocket in case we separate, so that he can have kids with another woman. I don't know whether I'm being inconsiderate, since technically it is me who shouldn't get pregnant, not him. Part of me wishes that we would go through this together, though. I'm really confused by this. Top comment: for you to now get sterilized would be a surgery that is far more invasive than a vasectomy. Honestly, if he is wanting you to suffer through that, I would change how I feel. It would change how I feel about him. Mm-hmm. He doesn't care about the fact that it's invasive, but still wants you to do it. That's beyond selfish. No way. He is telling you in no uncertain terms that he doesn't give a damn about you or your health. He only cares about himself. I would have a hard time staying with a man who told me that.
Yeah.
Oof.
So when I read this story, I was curious since we'd have you and Sergeant Mac here, and like, is there this like thing with men where like getting a vasectomy feels like cutting off part
Like
of your
being
manhood?
castrated?
Yeah.
No, not for me.
Now, not with me,
Yeah.
because I've had it done. So I'm speaking from experience.
Yeah.
It really comes down to men as general, especially the military. A lot of us are dumbasses. And they don't want to take the time to go look up exactly what happened.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
Would have never guessed.
Well, in all fairness, your gender is not much better. You ran into the thing about a woman that thought that
I ran into what?
the foreskin regrows every month.
That was your stepdaughter. Thank you very much.
No, I'm talking about the story you said you read online.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Some girl thought we had to go in and get it trimmed every month like a haircut.
We do. There are some weaker links out there.
Trim foreskin
You know
like
what I mean?
fingernails. You
Yeah.
know?
That's so gross.
I had it done wide awake during it.
Wait, let's
Wait.
wait.
You
Let's
had the
vasectomy, the
vasectomy.
vasectomy.
Not the trimming.
Not the monthly foreskin.
No. Like, hey, babe, you're late for your foreskin trim.
Just see me there with a magnifying glass and a pair of trimmers. They make too much. They cost.
I would also have to leave the room for that because I don't like that.
Why am I picturing this like a nail salon?
Oh.
Oh, honey, that's why you know her boyfriend. You trim this back, it look bigger.
Oh, you want to do the dip?
Oh my gosh, y'all are too much.
I go through like, did you sit and gum?
I'm crying.
Did you step?
No, this really comes down to it comes down to ignorance is what it is, first off, because it's not nearly as bad as what people say it is. The worst part is day 4 of recovery. You're going to feel like you're okay. You are not okay. You will go around, hey, I can walk upstairs. I can do this. No, in day 5, it's going to remind you, you are not okay. Sit down with a bag of peas.
Yeah.
This is one of those, I do agree with a portion of that top comment. He's way too selfish in the regards of he doesn't even want to look into this for his own self. He just wants her to do it. She's done this part already, all this other stuff. Oh, sure, you can handle this other part because, like they said, it's a keyhole surgery. No. In this case, no. Honey, you sit down. I got this. We'll get this taken care of.
Reversal's like 1,000 times worse than the actual vasectomy. Is such a
Yeah.
The actual procedure is nothing. The recovery time is the only thing that's any inconvenience in that. But him not being willing to even entertain that is a huge problem.
So I did do some like diving in on this one, and I read a lot of her comments because she was responding to a lot of people. And people were like, then you don't have sex with them. Like if you can't get pregnant and you can't have the surgery for months, then you guys just don't have sex. And she's like, no, I'm not going to be petty. And I'm like, but if you get pregnant, like it's endangering your life. I'm like, I don't think that's being petty. I think that's saying like,
that's self-preservation.
Hey, yeah. I'm like, you shouldn't have sex in any way, shape or form if you're not, like one of you aren't sterilized.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's always a risk of pregnancy.
Yeah.
And, but someone had mentioned that their husband was terrified of having it done, and went to the doctor and like actually spoke to someone outside of the situation, a medical professional, and it completely changed his mind because he realized that it wasn't what he thought it was.
There's a difference between being terrified about it and being completely unwilling to
have the conversation.
I don't think that's a being afraid thing. I think that's a pride issue.
Oh, I agree with this guy. And the fact that she doesn't have like, she has no more to give. I'm like, she said she had 6 abdominal surgeries already. Like,
yeah.
Come on, dude. Step up.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people are not educated on it. A lot of guys are like, I don't understand it. It must be painful. It's going to be this, it's going to be that. And instead of doing the research, they just clam up. And then, the other part of the guys they feel like if I do this, then, I can never have kids again. What if I divorce? And it's like, that's not a good way to look at life. Like if you're with somebody.
Right.
So,
Right.
but there's just a lot of misinformation about it. I think guys need to be, and women need to be well educated on this, because when you get to that point in your life, you know, it's something that you should do if you can. And I was in the same boat as OP, because when I underwent my, my C-section, the original plan was to take out my uterus because I'd had a lot of issues. Unfortunately, I bled out a lot, and
same issue.
Yeah, so they weren't able to do it. They're like, there's just too much blood loss, which made it hard, because I mean, he was fixed. Luckily, he did get reversed because we were going to try and have another one, but the reversal didn't work, which is actually fine. It worked out well, but it's so much more dangerous for a female to get her tubes tied. So if if it's possible for the guy to do it, then that's the way that you need to go. And we have to have our husband's permission to get our tubes tied. Like in certain states, you actually have to have your husband's permission to get your tubes tied. Yeah. Yep. Especially if you haven't had kids.
This is literally just a matter of man pride.
A lot of selfishness. I mean, and I honestly believe as well, just basic human physiology and anatomy ignorance. Of course, for me, the military did mine on both ends. And for the process of it, first they brought us all in. They talked about, I say all of us. The surgery was not a group thing. Okay?
It was a group.
There's an informational meeting before we signed any paperwork or did whatever. And there were several of us in there. They told us exactly what was going to happen, kind of showed us that sort of thing. And then they asked, does anybody have any questions? Me, I'm like, no, I got it, straightforward. The questions that were asked from those around me, though, I was like, who ties your shoes in the morning? It can't be you. People ask, like, is it going to get shorter? Does that mean that
oh dear God.
Yes. Does that mean that when I arrive, it's just going to be like air? Does that mean like
nothing comes out?
It's like it's a helium tank.
I know, right?
If your wife decides to give you fun time, she's not going to start squeaking like the Munchkins.
It's going to sound like a grass whistle every time.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm almost there.
Yep.
It's bubbles now.
Yeah.
Oh, that would actually be kind of funny. That'd be fun.
Like, it's like when you let out a balloon, like the high pitch.
Oh shit!
There's a part of me which that was the case. That'd make it hilarious.
Yeah. Or maybe it's like a little bike horn.
Say what?
It's like a symphony.
Like a bike horn.
Oh, look, he's singing. He's singing. We're about to get to the chorus. Here we go.
And the crescendo.
Oh my
shit.
God.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of misinformation, and this guy's a jackass for being like, you go under the knife again. I mean, I've had, I don't know, 4 or 5 abdominal surgeries, and they suck, and they are worse every single time. Like, they just progressively get worse. So, just what an asshole.
To not even like entertain the conversation, just to like shut it down and be like, no, you go do it. I'm not doing it.
That's respect, right? That's lack of respect, and just to not have enough respect for the person that you love to even entertain it or learn more about it.
Yeah. To me, it says, I love you, but I love my penis more.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to do that.
To me, it says, I love the fact that you can serve me.
Yeah.
You can serve me by having my children, and that's like that's your job, that's your function. So the maintenance part of it is also your job.
Yep. Well, and she even questioned herself. She's like, "It is my problem. So am I being selfish by asking him to do this?" And I'm like,
"No.
At what
that
point
is definitely
in your partnership? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is you two together working through a problem, and your husband's like, "See ya."
Yeah, that's only your individual problem if that's your individual kid.
Yeah.
And not your kid together, right? So you can't have one and not the other.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
Yeah. I understand how guys are thinking of this, but I don't understand how they can't just do a little bit of research.
Yeah.
Like when they do the research, they're going to find out that, you know, they can reverse it. Granted, it's not 100%, but there's still other ways to have kids. So if, you know, shit hits the fan and you do get divorced, it's not like it's the end of the world.
Yeah.
Right.
And even for those guys that, you know, they have that understanding. Like in my case, there was already, you know, my stepdaughter, my son were already in the picture. Like, got one of each. Hey, box check, good, done. Not worried about having kids in the future. You know, even in that, don't start. Granted, this was long before we got married. So, anyway,
Sorry.
Even in those cases, just a simple Google search can answer a lot of your questions. And, you know, can really put to bed a lot of the fears that anybody might have about it.
Yeah.
I think when you're facing an ego or pride issue, though, research is like asking for directions somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like there's a man pride level there that prevents him from asking for help or asking for directions, and it's the same kind of thing.
It's like team lift.
Yes.
Team lift boxes.
Hey, there are some things that will just remain forever. There was like a 300-pound dresser that we had to replace because the tornado sent the board through the wall, and this is the dresser that it like stabbed with it.
Oh man.
So it came back in stock at Target, and it's just me and Navy there, and it is no shit like a 300-pound box. Wow. I look around and there's nobody around, and I'm like, okay, Navy, stand right there. Do not move. And I heaved this up and over and into the cart, and I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
Right, absolutely not.
Get up front
And hernia.
Get up front and find the checkout lane that has like the super jacked dude, and I'm like, hey, I need some help loading this up afterwards. And he's like, oh, I got you, bro. And I'm like, dude, it's really heavy. And he's like, I got you, bro. And I'm like, okay. So I pull up, pop the trunk open, and he comes over and he starts trying to lift it out and can't clear the cart. And I'm like, I told you. I told you. It's an extra heavy team lift, but also I lifted it higher. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying.
That's what he said to me this morning, and I was like, "You're so like guys are so simple in that way."
Yeah, there's some things that you just won't be able to remove ever.
Yeah.
As I schedule my next back surgery,
Right. can't figure out why that's happening. Maybe,
I don't know what's going on.
Maybe don't pick up team lift items.
Yeah,
right.
That's just a manufacturer's suggestion.
Last one. This one is it's an Am I the Devil? Oh shit.
Ooh.
Okay. The question on this is, am I the astronaut for snatching my wife's bunny ears headband off her head in front of her students?
Yes.
I think we could, the fact that it's got cross-posted to Am I the Devil?
You can't use those context clues.
Well, how am I supposed to not use those
I'll have to go
context?
back and get the
I'd be
AITA
mad if you
link.
took my bunny ears off my head.
Yeah.
Or those.
What are we rating him? What are you guys going to rate him as?
Yeah. Well, where on the scale do you think he's going to land here?
I'm going all the way up. ASCON, what a dick. Leave my headbands alone.
ASCON 1 here. Unless they were like on fire. No. You know what I mean?
That's because he would expect
a life-saving event here. No.
Yeah.
That's your
They were connected to a real rabbit.
There's blood everywhere.
I'm going to go with 2 just to change it up. We'll see what happens. Where are you at? Are you reading this one?
I can't say because I know how it
It's
is.
on Am I the Devil? I'm sure it's a 1, but we'll see what happens. Okay. My wife, 38 female, is a teacher and a doctoral candidate. Is it doctoral or doctoral or doctoral? My wife, 38 female, is a teacher and a doctoral candidate in education.
I'm sorry you said it the other way. It's fine. It's fine.
She really smart.
She's real smart.
My wife, 38 female, is a teacher and a doctoral.
Yes.
Is that what I'm supposed to say?
Yes.
Yeah.
And a doctoral candidate in education. And side note, it took me 4 takes to say that. Right, so.
Clearly.
Rest assured, you're never going to be hearing from Dr. Dusty. Dr. Dusty is not in the cards, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, they wouldn't let me in because I couldn't say doctoral.
You don't even know why you're here, do you?
Yep. here to get my educated.
Is this where I get my foreskin clipped? Dictorial? No. Okay. Yesterday, we had a pretty big fight, and today, I-40 male drove to her school a few hours ago just because she forgot something, and she wanted me to drop it off to her. My wife teaches very young kids, so she frequently wears this bunny ears headband that the children all love. I was the one who bought it for her because I help out financially with extraneous school supplies like this. I also must note that the tension from our fight spilled over from yesterday. I was still angry at her when I dropped by her school to deliver her things. When I met my wife at the front, there were a few students nearby, and when she met me, she was still wearing her bunny ears. My wife was excessively cold to me and didn't even say thank you. So I kind of snatched the bunny ears off of her head and walked back to my car with them. That really pissed her off. And she followed me into the car and snapped at me that the students saw what I did. In response, I asked her who paid for the headband. My wife couldn't respond, and she just gave me a glare before she walked out of the car.
Ask on one.
Yeah.
All the way.
What a douche canoe. Like, what the like, you go to her school and you're like, give me that shit in front of the kids. And then you have the nerve to get mad because she's mad. I just smack his shit out of him.
I love how he said that he contributes
story.
financially
Opie has
too.
been missing and the body has not been located for 4 weeks.
Yeah. That's exactly what would be on the news if that was me. Ooh, I'd have been livid.
His body has been turned into rabbit pellets,
Yes.
ladies and gentlemen.
You
This
know.
guy's on a fast track to divorce.
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
acting like this.
What
A minimum.
Dick.
Yeah. He's not to mention it's almost like if he's doing this in front of the kids, what is he doing when they're at home?
Yeah.
Like how is he acting at home? Because if he's willing to rip something off of his wife's head in public in front of children, then you know he's an asshole behind closed doors.
Yeah.
Because this is almost, I mean, it's kind of assault. Like he ripped it off her head and walked out the door.
Yeah.
And I would bet he's a raging asshole.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep. And he's like, I fucking paid for it. I'm like, no, you didn't. You bought it for your wife. Like that's a gift. That's her property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You don't take it back just because you're pissed at your wife. Like that would be, you rip something off my head. We're going to have words.
No, if I rip something off your head, you're ripping off something from down beloll.
That's what I was thinking too. Exactly.
That's fact.
She lost the bunny ears. He lost everything else.
Twigs and berries
Yeah.
gone. You don't have to worry about
Yeah.
getting that foreskin trimmed anymore.
Yeah,
That's
no,
right.
don't worry about that part.
Cancel that monthly appointment, sir.
Yeah.
That's
What if
$20
that was
we
the
can
thing?
save. Oh, I know.
Like, what if it was a
God.
f***ing thing? It would be.
It'd be terrifying.
I know. Or like some people who just didn't want to like deal with it and be all natural and just let it grow.
And
It would
it
be
just
like a long
keeps
fingernail.
growing.
Oh,
I'm
dear
sorry.
Lord.
Just keeps growing.
That's all I can picture is like a windsock type thing. And that's just fucking horrible.
That's what I was thinking.
That's
It was once a Galveston, but in the pants.
yeah.
So wait,
Oh,
it's like you can tell wind speed. You got to put some notches on it, so you
Right,
tell
exactly.
based on how far up it's blowing, how many knots of wind
Do you
speed we're
know, in
at.
the Guinness Book of World Records, there's like the woman with the longest fingernails that like they like have them wound
Yeah,
up.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
you're
imagine
saying there should
Oh,
be
dear
this
There
Lord.
should be a
word.
Guinness
Yeah.
World Record.
if we lived in a world where you had to trim your foreskin. Oh
That
my
Olympics
god!
Oh, I would
gymnastics
cheeks are
thing where you got
everywhere.
like the ribbon. I just picture that. It's just a guy naked. Just,
Ah.
I keep
God,
picturing like an
nightmares.
empty tamale. I don't know why.
That's
I don't know why
another
my
one.
brain's going.
That's because you ate tamales last
It's
night.
probably, yeah. And they weren't very good. Maybe that's why.
No.
You got to come to Texas for that.
Yeah,
Yeah. It was a little lackluster. After the
terrible.
thing we went
it's
to,
awful.
we drove out of our way to go to this place because it was the quesadillas
Mhm.
that sounded really good, but it wasn't great.
No, it has gone downhill.
That's all disappointing, especially when we don't get out much to go like eat places because we have a 3-year-old
Right.
who can't be contained to a table for
She
an
did
extended amount of time.
really great,
She
though.
did great. The restaurant did poorly. She did great.
She ordered her drink. She ordered her meal by herself.
Yeah.
And I was so proud of her.
She was more brave talking to the wait staff than our teenage girl was.
That's
Teenagers
awesome.
get all clammy about asking questions, or they forgot to bring her rice with her meal and she wouldn't speak up about it. I'm like, we're missing some rice, sir.
Yeah.
I was like, don't speak up. She's got to do it.
I could have seen
gotta learn
Baby
how to
being like,
communicate.
"Excuse me, I need my rice."
Yeah.
Okay, she would be.
Excuse me, I need
She
this.
He was bringing refills of drinks back for everybody else, and she's like, I need sweet tea. It's still 75% full. But she's like, I have sweet tea.
Hey, chop, keep it up. Huh?
Yeah, that's her. She had no qualms about speaking up at all. It was great.
Oh my gosh,
She's a ham, of course.
she's so freaking cute.
She's
Yeah,
I
adorable.
can't.
Which is why she's going to be such an asshole, because she's really cute when she's being an asshole. So she gets away with quite a bit.
I don't know how Tony does it, because I would be a horrible uncle.
Oh,
Oh, you want these toys? Sure, I got you.
Yeah.
You want the keys to my truck? Here you go.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
100%.
tough. I mean, it's shit. It's tough for me. Whenever after I lifted the 300-pound dresser into the cart, she ended up convincing me to buy her a dress, a pair of shoes, a little flowering can, and
A watering can.
a watering can. Yeah, sorry, flowering can. Jesus, you can tell I'm really involved with that area. And a babysitter Barbie. Like it was like, yeah.
I was like, that's the last time I asked you to pick
my
up
gosh.
anything from.
In my defense, she had a different toy picked out, and I would only let her get one toy. So I told her she would have to, if she wanted it bad enough to put the other toy back, then she could get it, but she could only get one. And she did. She put the first one back.
Look at that.
Yep.
Quick decisions.
Yeah, I'm using that like it's me being strong-willed or something. It's like I still bought her a whole
I know
bunch
you
of
get
shit.
home and look at it like, what the f just happened?
Right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it
I'm
Hey,
really
we
bad.
did pretty good.
I'm really
Mama
bad.
approved of the dress and the sandals. I think we did okay.
You did great.
Hey yo.
I was at the office creating this document actually.
Yeah.
While they were doing that.
It's we're only here at the same time, like in the agency during the day. Well, like maybe 2 times per week for a couple of hours. It doesn't happen very often. It's pretty much an either or kind of structure. One of us will be home and one of us will be here. Somebody's got to watch the kids at home and somebody's got to watch the kids here.
Right.
It's
True.
either way. It just
You
gets
corral
wild.
the cats, I'll corral the squirrels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of corralling on both sides, man.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an absolute blast.
Oh wait, we decide that he's an ASCON one.
Oh, yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
I feel bad for the person that has to edit this because they're going to be like, "Oh my gosh, they jumped around so much."
I know.
I think they're used to it. I think they're used to the jumping around. It should be good. But also when we do, so on Riverside where we're filming right now, they have a lot of built-in tools that will like AI edit a lot of stuff for us. So
that's cool.
That's
I'm going
awesome.
to try it out. We'll see how it goes.
Don't
Most of the time we just pull down the raw and then do it all ourselves.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try it out and see how it does.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
But this has been
This has been a blast.
an absolute
Yes.
blast.
I said earlier, my cheeks hurt from laughing
Mine
so
too.
hard.
Mine too.
It's been very fun.
I'm still recovering
That was
from
my-
bronchitis, so like that's why I had to leave because I was laughing so hard that it started to make me cough. So I had to go get my inhaler and get a drink. But yeah, we
You didn't want to
Absolute
give us that old school like a throaty bronchitis cough.
no, I'm not.
So you've been
It's
smoking
gross.
cigarettes since you were 3?
I know.
Oh, honey, you look fabulous.
I only have an issue when I laugh or when I'm really loud. That's the only issue I have now.
Mhm.
But with having lupus, it takes a lot longer for me to heal from literally anything. Like I messed up my knee like a month ago and it's still partially numb. Like it takes forever for me to heal. So
that sucks.
but it is what it is. But we're glad that
You're
we
like
got
an
to do
overly
this.
ripened banana walking around.
She is.
I really am. I really, really am. That's okay
A
though.
small bruise will last like 3.5 weeks.
Mhm.
And that's if I didn't cause
Damn.
it with all my, sleeping shenanigans.
Yeah. When you sleep with an orangutan,
Right.
sometimes you get the banana.
Has been trimmed.
The best.
I don't know. That's where it was naturally going.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my god.
Oh shit.
That was awesome.
Okay. Yeah, this has been an absolute blast, guys. Thank you so much. We definitely have to do it again. So, so I don't know when it'll happen, but we have to make it happen again. But you guys are rock stars. Thank you so much for making the time to do this with us and for
thank you for
hanging
inviting
out.
us. This was amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting us. We had a blast. And honestly, when Sergeant Mac said, like, we'll go on their show, it was like a joke. But when Candy was like, hey, by the way, and I'm like, yes, like, absolutely we'll be there. So
awesome.
But it's been amazing.
You guys are so funny in live chat and the way that you interact with each other. And so I was like, and his jokes and like you guys going back and forth. I'm like, it's perfection.
Yeah.
So
there's a frequent conversation about how much you guys remind us of us in a lot of ways. It's hilarious.
Yes. So I tried to choose like funny stories so that we could have fun with it. Less.
I think it worked.
Yeah.
Less.
My face hurts.
I know, right?
Same.
My jaw actually hurts, and I'm gonna have to give my voice a rest today.
Yeah.
So congratulations, you don't have to hear me today. Yay!
Yeah. You were saying a minute ago that you only have a problem when you laugh a lot or you're loud, and I was like, don't say it, Sergeant Mac. Don't say it, Sergeant Mac. Don't say it, Sergeant.
I already know.
Man.
I already know I'm really loud. Like, I come from a loud family. I'm, the youngest of, and I'm loud. I can't help it. I'm a loud person.
How Ava is she talks so loud. And I'm more soft spoken. And so I'm like, but I think her dad is loud too. Like, he's a loud talker.
12 decibel boost happening at all times.
So
like
I do
a little switch that's just flipped in.
And it's not all the time. Like, when we're at the restaurant, she's like, I'll have sweet tea, please.
Yeah.
Oh, she's shy.
But at home, she'd be like, sweet. Yeah. At home, she's like, sweet tea.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Ava. Or she's in the car, like talking from the back seat. And I'm like, the Ross thing. I'm like, take it down. Just a little bit. It's too much.
She does the Peter Griffin thing. Welcome to our home! Would you like something to drink?
You wish I was quiet at some point. I'm never quiet.
There's no middle ground.
No, there's not.
It's either one or the other. It's a toggle, not a knob.
He's not wrong.
It's not a fader. It's not like a fader knob. It's just a switch.
Just straight.
Yeah.
Just on or off. That's it. That's all.
On or off, kind of like this. Or hey! I heard an echo.
Well, thank you so much for having us.
Yes.
Absolute blast. If you guys ever want us to come back on, just let us know.
Absolutely.
Hey, we'll do it.
Yes. Thank you guys so much. Sure.
And whenever we have this edit ready, we'll kick it to you guys first so you can watch it through before we get it scheduled for publishing. So, so you'll get a chance to watch it and make sure that there's nothing in there that you don't want to be in there. So,
alrighty.
Oh, hell, I think we're
cool.
Yeah.
At this point, we're pretty much open book. So,
You're like, throw it all out there.
Like, we left
whatever YouTube accepts.
Right. Good luck. I think YouTube.
The cover image for this one is going to be foreskin clippings. So.
That'd be hilarious.
With Patty.
Foreskin clippings with Patty. Oh my gosh.
That's pretty awesome.
That would be hilarious.
All right. Thanks again, guys.
Yep,
Thank you.
no
We'll do
problem.
this again.
All right. Have a good
Bye,
weekend, guys.